Guy is wrong, wrong, wrong. He's done all the research, but he's wrong. Commodore was a military company built to build military computers for the military. It is Commodore Computing, which is basically like IBM. It's a military branch of IBM. And that is not the first Atari ST, by the way. That is the redub Atari, the updated Atari. That is not the first. That is the third or fourth or fifth. And notice the F1 keys, F keys on top. Look familiar?
Now, it's actually quite an interesting story behind the ST. It really, you can kind of...
This guy is wrong.
...get out the ST's history back together and they all join at one place. And that is...
No, they don't.
...company in California. Now,
no, they don't.
Amiga were a new starter in 1982 in California. It was the original team of the Amiga.
This guy is spreading lies and it is wrong, 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 wrong. The box that they showed was just basically a bunch of cards put into a box and had no relationship nor operating system to work with it. This thing never worked. It never worked. Some people looked it up. It was an art form. It was a piece of artwork. That's all it was. It was art. It was not a real computer. It did not work at all. Not even a little bit. It never worked. They couldn't make it work because it didn't work. No, not the owner, just some guy. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong. Nope, 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 nope. That guy did an artwork thing, basically. Commodore was actually owned by IBM. It was a subsidiary of IBM, basically. And basically, Commodore Computing, somewhere around it's basically a subsidiary, a sub part of the company. Basically, you could probably trace Bill Gates back to basically a bunch of stock maneuvering and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Commodore was basically the military branch of IBM, basically. Responsible for things like NORAD and other things. Basically, safe computing. Pretty much closed circuit computing, basically. A bunch of people, that guy did an artwork thing and basically was a spokesman for the company or something like that. You'd have to do some research to find out. But basically, the only thing about California is me being here. That black box that they showed right there never worked. Some computer specialists looked at it, and basically all it was a bunch of ports soldered on a board, pretty much. And they just soldered the ports on the board and didn't even bother hooking them up or anything like that. And they basically plugged in or attached cards. I don't even know how it was built. But basically it was a scam, a complete and total scam. They were trying to fabricate the start of computing. It did not begin there. It did not begin with those people. They were just scamming or lying the people. Their stock bonds, everything was fake because it was a fake top secret. It was a top secret branch of basically IBM. Somebody realized this. Anyway, Commodore Computing goes back all the way to basically the old days. There's IBM, and then there's Commodore Computers, which is basically the same, which is basically means computers with monitors, pretty much, or computers with TVs. But the problem is that the TVs that they're using didn't work that well. It was incompatible, basically, or something like that. Anyway, though, it didn't work. It sucked. They sucked completely. They tried to market some things. They failed. Nobody liked them. It was basically a TV with a bunch of electronics underneath it. Did not work at all and went bankrupt almost immediately, basically. The technology just wasn't there. They were trying to do it, but they didn't do it. Anyway, me with a lot more money, basically, Lucifer Star, basically walked in. Well, I owned the company to begin with. So, I mean, computers, blah, blah, American government, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, basically, in my absence, a lot of people were able to basically walk in and do an art show piece. Like, they even showed the little stacks of the different things. They were doing that so they were trying to basically accelerate a computer as fast as it could possibly go, pretty much, until it fried, and basically create better cooling. Anyway, they were overclocking everything. And it was a cute experiment, really. And by the way, like I say, it was I paid them to do it pretty much. And they were able to get some pretty good numbers out of the computers, but basically they fried pretty much. And it was basically an artwork thing, basically. Anyway, though, I was paying for everything, pretty much. Lucifer Star. Anyway, I don't even care. It's like, I don't give a fuck. After everything that's happened with using LSL shells, which are basically uranium, thorium, and a couple other things, which basically create one hell of a nuclear reaction in midair. With all the death and Bill Gates running around, Zachary pulling down underwear with a pistol, and then even shooting one girl through the vagina, basically, just to see if it would work. Anyway, I don't know what he was thinking, to tell you the truth. I really don't know what happened. I don't even know why. You could blame the drugs, but it was just pot or something. There might have been some LSD. I don't know, really. They found drugs on one of the kids or something like that. I don't really know. You'd have to go back and look at, talk to the Irish, the IRA, the Irish people about Bill Gates or Zach Corey or something like that. Just ask the Irish people. They knew all about it. He was going after their police officers inside of Ireland. It was either Ireland or Scotland or one of these cities. Basically, Zachary was a foreign exchange student, which is basically Bill Gates. That access to a teletype room where they grabbed the gun of the police officer and then basically shot him and then held the girl, the teacher, hostage. I think for like 17 hours or something, 14 hours or something like that. For 32 hours. Meanwhile, they decided to have sex with all the girls and the teacher, and eventually shot the teacher, I'm pretty sure, and then blamed it on some other kid that they also shot that stood up for the teacher or something like that. I don't really know the exact details of it. I don't even know if it happened like that. Very like I say, talk to the Irish. They went after and they tried to assassinate other people in Ireland. Basically, it's Bill Gates, Zachary. I didn't know about, as soon as he mentioned that teletype room, I knew. Anyway, basically, I knew who he was, pretty much. Once he mentioned that teletype room, I was like, oh, that's him. That's the kid. That's the teletype room, where all the bad shit went down. I just remember certain things, they had him in there for like 48 hours or 17 hours, something like that. They were holding them hostage, threatening to kill the girl. It was in the basement or something. I don't really know. I don't really know the details of it. There might have been a movie about it before Bill Gates came along. Anyway, though, Teletype or the typewriter company, basically, computers come from a typewriter company. There was it was Teletype or whatever, and basically I was doing better typewriters, or typewriters with augmentation, basically, or computer assisted typewriters, pretty much. And that program really went into basically what is computers. Basically, I owned the little thing with the little leather wheels and the sewing machines, and I also owned the typewriting companies. And because I also own the printing companies. Anyway, so I was having them do better typewriters. And so they were doing typewriters with electronics, basically, to make it easier so you didn't have to press the key so hard. Because, but I mean, the typewriters work pretty good, so the key pressure really isn't all that bad. But anyway, though, and then one of those programs went into and basically started, it's basically a better typewriter that actually, or a computer and a typewriter put together, pretty much, that actually went on to basically become the computer companies. Like 3 or 4 different companies or groups. Anyway, and I'm all out of time, and that's the best explanation for basically where the computers come from. And then, of course, my idea of Dungeon Master, and my brother, which I adore very, very much, and was a very, very wonderful person. And very, very smart. His name was David. And then, of course, there's me. So I don't even know how this video looks, considering.